O Great Spirit, Namaste. Saints and sages of all times, of all places, O ye pathmakers of old, ancestors of our bloodlines, of all of the lines that we have adopted, our friendship lines, our marriage lines, our spiritual lines. Namaste. O ye beings of the air, the earth, the fire, the water, the ether. Namaste. Most beloved and precious Ishtadevata, Lord of life in all of thy names and all of thy forms. Namaste. We call upon thee to be with us this morning. Sweep clear our paths. That this time be meaningful. That we hear that which needs to be heard. That we see that which needs to be seen. That thus we are able to act and change our lives for the better. Om Saha Navavatu Sahanau Bunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvi Navadidam Astu Ma Vidvishavahai. May there be peace between us. May their communication be ease-filled. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Namaste. Welcome. Welcome to my heart. And welcome to our Sunday Sangha.
Once upon a time, in the ever-present now, there was a king and a queen. There lived a king and a queen. And they had a son whom they loved very, very much. He was the apple of their eye, if you wish. One day, the kingdom was raided, and the son, the prince, was kidnapped and taken away. They searched high and low to no avail. They could not find him. And years passed. The son had been kidnapped by some bandits and was taken into the forest to be raised. And thus he was raised. He was raised to strike fear in all of those whom he met. He was raised to be cruel. He was raised to steal. He was raised to be a very good bandit. And very slowly, but surely, he forgot. He forgot Om Bhurabhuva Svaha Om Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Na Prachodayat. No mantra. No papa teaching him, no mama teaching him, no love. Nothing. Just the desires to be a good bandit. So, the years go by, they go by, they go by, as is life. And one day, what happens? He stops someone on the road. Give me your money. Is that you, Your Highness? Is that you? Give me your money. You should be afraid of me. I'm going to take your money. Your Highness, how old are you? What are you doing asking me how old I am? Give me your money. And the bandit becomes very confused. What's going on? You look like the prince. I am your father's spiritual advisor. You look like the prince who was kidnapped 15 years ago. Is it possible that you are the prince? I'm a bandit. I'm a good bandit. Everybody is afraid of me. Everybody is afraid of me. Now give me your money. You know, really, you look like the prince. Let's just sit down here and talk a while. Do you remember this mantra? You remember your mother singing to you before you went to bed? I'm a bandit. Doggone it. Be afraid of me. Hey, give me a minute. Om Bhur, Om Bhuva, Om Svaha. You remember your father picking you up on his shoulders and carrying you around? Do you remember him teaching you? Do you remember learning how to read and write? And all of a sudden, the bandit's eyes open, really wide, they open. And it was as if a veil was removed, completely removed from his eyes. And he remembered who he was. He remembered his lineage. He remembered his birthright. His heart was filled with compassion and filled with deep, deep, deep regret that he had so easily forgotten, that he had so easily been swayed by all of the others. What had happened to him? So, as the story goes, his memory came back. The bandits didn't want to let him go because he was a really good bandit. But he managed to persuade them to come back with him and learn to live within the kingdom in harmony and peace. Little rough road there, but learning. Now what had happened to him? How had he been stolen? He had been kidnapped. He had been seized. And all of those around him, their goal was, they were greedy. Their greed grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. They were overwhelmed by their greed. All the bandits were overwhelmed by their greed. They had castles filled with the things that they had stolen. They didn't sell them. They had plenty. But in the forest they had built these big structures of things that they had made out of that which they had stolen. That which their greed consumed them to gather. They didn't know any better. And he went into their presence and he became like them. He went into their presence and he became like them. Be aware of who you are befriending. Surround yourself with noble thoughts. Surround yourself with noble people. Surround yourself with people who are seeking to better themselves, who are seeking to find a way to be happier in this life. Now, in Kriya Yoga, as in many mystical traditions, the path to enlightenment, to samadhi, it's really the path to happiness. It's the path to be seen and becoming one with life. It's the path to improving your life. No great mystery about it. To make sure that your life is better now than it was yesterday. That you are happier now than you were yesterday. Now, happier does not mean that you have more stuff. It doesn't mean that you've gathered more things. It doesn't mean that your desires are always ruling. That's not happiness. It means that you are able to become one with life, this which you are a part of. The first step in becoming one with life is you need to recognize that your subconscious mind, your unconscious mind, and your conscious mind have fears. They have fears. And you have to do something about that. The first thing is you have to do something about the fears that are in your conscious mind. And then you have to do something about the fears that arise from the subconscious. The real trick is that you must become aware through opening the door. You must allow that which is in your unconscious mind to come to the surface and reveal itself. Now, the mind is like an iceberg. The top is, the consciousness is here, right? What you're conscious of is right here. Not very much, right? The subconscious is maybe this much, a little bit more, right? But the unconscious is the vast majority. Now, you've seen what happens as icebergs melt. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of that now upon the earth. But what happens? What was in the unconscious, what was in the lower realms, begins to rise, begins to reveal itself. Now, how do you warm the iceberg? And what is the iceberg? The iceberg is your hardened heart. The iceberg is your hardened desires. It is your hardened preferences that you are attached to. Not just your preferences. Everybody has preferences. We all have preferences. I have a preference of a particular color or colors, but it is what we are attached to that goes from being a fluid, liquid state of consciousness to one that is solid and becomes more and more and more solid. And as it becomes solid, it becomes harder and harder to dissolve away, harder and harder to neutralize, because you have given it energy that has solidified it. Something needs to be done. And so the first is simply to say, all right, I see it. I recognize it, yeah. I see the everyday mind has some fears. What can I do? You know, a fear arises in your mind, and what is the fear? Very often the fear is, I'm going to be denied my dream. My life isn't turning out the way I wanted it to. Maybe that's more complex. Maybe the fear is just as simple as, are they going to like me? They're not going to like me. Are they going to like me or they're not going to like me? You know? And the mind says, well, I don't know. I don't think they're going to like you today. You know, neti, neti, neti. Neti, neti, neti. That great Sanskrit phrase. Neti, I'm not this thought. Neti, I'm not the thought thinking this thought. Neti, I am not thought. See, your mind thinks it's thought. Remember that? This phrase, neti, neti, neti. My guru, Swami Kriya, often said that for a disciple, for someone who was initiated, and then thus for the rest of the world, it is one of the most vital practices to remember. Because repeating neti, neti, neti is a miraculous, magical, demagnetizing force. So you have this thought, they're not going to like me. Oh, I'm sure they won't like me. And it's gotten tighter, 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 right? So-and-so doesn't like me, so-and-so doesn't like me. Neti, 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 neti. The thought arises again. Neti, 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 neti. Oh, it's gone. The fear is gone. The worry is gone. Now, if we can accept that this is the nature of mind, that it is the nature of life, that there are fears, but we must do something. That's what Kriya is. It's sacred action. You can't sit on your duffus and do nothing. I think you can, but it's not helpful. I was teaching the Ananda Upanishad the other night to some of the disciples, and there's a beautiful, beautiful shloka within that Upanishad which says that the untrained person has a mind that is chaotic. The mind will arise and fall, and that chaos will reign in the person's life. And if they have no spiritual training, they have no spiritual path, they have no hope of contentment. It doesn't say you have to follow this path or you have to follow that path. It says that there is great benefit in life. In fact, it says that the only way truly to find a balanced mind, to find happiness, to find contentment, is to recognize that we need training to do it. You need to find a path that it works for you. Now, for me, Kriya has worked for a lot of decades, and it has been practically applicable in my life. And I hope that if you're here, that it is for you the same. But I must say this today, if it is not, if at any time, this doesn't work for me, or she doesn't work for me, or he doesn't work for me, or whoever doesn't work for you. Find something that does. Find something that does, because the spiritual path, your spiritual evolution, your maturation, if you will, you're maturing to the wonder that you are, which is being a part of this, comes from your practice, comes from your capacity to say, you're not your ego self. You're not your ego self. So how do you do that? Remember, practice. You take part of your consciousness, just a petite part, and you place it about 18 inches above your head. You're taking that consciousness outside of the chakra system, so that the karma that's flowing here within the chakra system is not flowing up here. And all you're doing is observing. You're just watching. It's quite a miraculous practice, truly. And I mean that in the sense that as you begin to do the practice, it only takes 49 days of doing this regularly, where you are reminding yourself during the course of the day, yes, I have to take a sip of water. I need to turn my awareness up here and see, just look, what's happening down here? What's that mind doing? What's that mouth doing? What's that body doing? What are they saying all around me? Until you cultivate an awareness that, this is pretty goofy. Why am I angry because they cut in front of me on the expressway? Why am I angry because they took my parking spot? You know, people jam each other's cars, they bang into each other's cars, they hit each other, they abuse each other because somebody took a parking spot. Really? You don't want to be like that. Yeah, I'm sure you're not. I'm sure you're going to say, I would never do that. But did you ever get upset with somebody because they cut in front of you in line? Cut in front of you? Did you ever get upset with somebody because they took the last set of grapes that you wanted? That were on sale? Good organic grapes on sale? Did you ever get upset with someone? Your mind. Not you, your mind. And so we must begin by neutralizing all of these things. Now here's the beauty. Really, it is the beauty. You have this observer self. Name it if you wish. Sometimes it's the blue light of self-awareness. Sometimes it's the observer. Sometimes it's the inner camera. And whatever you want to call it, doesn't matter. Have your own name for it. Call it, Vlashilda Gutruna. Something that is going to, that you're going to say, oh, that's really wise. Now, this observer self, the only language it has, the only language is to say, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? It has a deep curiosity about what is arising in your consciousness. What a miraculous thing. No judgment, no preferences, no hatred, no joy, no anger, no fear. It's just interested. It's just interested, that's all. Oh, yeah, so-and-so walked into the room. Stomach's a little uncomfortable. I wonder what that's about. I see. The last time I saw her, she wasn't very nice. Or, I was afraid she wasn't going to be very nice. I saw her being unnice to somebody else. Or I really want that person to like me for whatever reason. But I don't think they will. And the stomach gets upset. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Those things which we are afraid of. And, maybe the examples I gave you, you're saying, well, that's not really fear. I don't know. What is fear to you? I'm not saying that you have to be shivering in the corner. I'm saying these emotions that rise in the mind, they all have to do with your preferences and your ego self. And you're not your ego. You may think you are, it looks a lot like you are, but you're not. You're not your ego self. And so as these thoughts arise in the mind, because that's what they are, your preferences, your biases, your preferences, they're all thought forms. They need to be neutralized. You need to make friends with them. Befriend them so they go to sleep. They leave you alone. What happens when you do that? Here you are, you're observing. And you're seeing what's going on coming out of your mouth, what's going on in your conscious mind. But then all of a sudden, because you're aware here, a great miracle happens. I guess he really wants to see. I guess she really wants to see. You're not judging, you're just looking at it. And what will happen is the muck and mud will start to arise. Oh, that's fun. But you're not judging it. So you see somebody and a really ugly, ugly, ugly thought arises. Just disgusting. A thought that you could never imagine that you would think. I would never think that thought about somebody. But it arises in your mind. Wow, isn't that interesting? Wonder where that came from. Netty, netty, netty. Go back from whence thou came. All right, but there's a miracle here. You're not glomming onto it. You're not pushing it away. Here it is. Here it is. It's okay. Here it is. You're trying to do something in your life. And you make a mistake. You stumble. Maybe you've been seized. Maybe the planetary energy, the life energy has seized you, and maybe you're experiencing problems with your life being seized by addictions of some sort. Addictions to social media, addictions to addictions to food, addictions to alcohol, addictions to drugs, addictions to sexual activities. Whatever it is that you're seized by, addictions to chocolate. And you decide you don't want to follow that anymore. You want to do something different. And you go along and you do fine. Oh yes, I gave up soda last week. And then the cycle of life comes along and you start drinking your soda again. And before you know it, you're up to 2 or 3 cans of soda a day. And you didn't want that sugar in your life. Okay. Don't judge it. Just start again. You fall, you start again. You fall, you start again. You fall, you start again. Now, really, the greatest emotional problem that people experience is the idea that life is not going to give you what you want, that there's some dream that you have and you're not going to get it. It's the Catholic nun who wants to be a pope, wants to be the pope. and really goes through angst through her life because she's not going to be the Pope. She can be the Pope. Not this lifetime, perhaps, but, she really wants to be the Pope. In enough lifetimes, she'll be the Pope. She may not want it when she gets it, but she'll do that. And that may be an extreme example, right? But what is it that you want? What is the dream that you have that you are afraid you're not going to have in your life? Well, know that you are immortal. You're going to come back. You've been coming back. You've been coming back again and again and again. Whatever you want in time will be yours. My seminary advisor, years ago, wonderful soul, and she wanted to be married. She really wanted to be married, but she didn't have the aspects for it at that time, and she knew she didn't. This was the last time that Saturn was in Pisces, and that she was talking about this, and she said, well, what I'm going to do is, I know that now is not the time for that, but I'm going to do everything I can to become the kind of person I would want to be married to. If I want to be married to somebody who's got a good sense of humor, I'm going to develop a good sense of humor. If I want to be married to someone who's well-read and interesting to speak to, and I'm going to become that person. If I want to be married to somebody who's compassionate and kind, I'm going to become that person. And she made a list, and she said, I'm going to do everything I can. And if it doesn't happen in this life, it'll happen in the next life. And a miracle happened. She became content. She no longer had this discontent because she wasn't married. She wanted to be happily married. She wanted to be happy in a relationship. And for many years, she told me, I didn't know this, but she said for many years she had been discontent because she was not married. And not married to the man that she thought she should be. Now, I remember at the time thinking, wow, that's really smart. Because most of the time you hear people saying, well, I want to be a doctor. And they go to school to be a doctor, and they do all of their studies to be a doctor, and so that they go through all these various things, and they come out and they get a degree, and then they learn, as they go along. But we don't very often hear of people saying, well, yes, I like this in my life. Now, what do I need to do to bring it into my life? What do I need to change within myself so that I draw it into my life? The big obstacle, the thing that happens to people again and again and again, don't let it happen to you, is that they give up. They become so despondent and so discouraged, they give up. Now, I know very well that some of you have been going through some really hard karma. You have my deepest respect. You have my love. You have the support of all the powers that be. Sometimes in life there are boulders, roads that are filled with rocks. But you can. Things can get better. Things will get better. They will get better. There is a law in mysticism, the law of Utu Dharma, UTU, beautiful word, Utu Dharma. And the law is that you can only walk so far into the forest before you begin to walk out. It can only become so dark before the light begins to shine again. It only takes a pinprick of light to penetrate that darkness. And you have it. You have it within you. Even on the days where it feels like you don't, you do. It is there for you. Now, how does this tie to getting rid of the fears? And what does it mean to let them come to the surface? It means that if the biggest fear is that, as so many people so erroneously say, well, this is it. This is my only life. Really, you should be so lucky. Excuse me. I mean, that is just, it's just a total error. And that this, in this incarnation, in this body, these bodies that we've taken time to incarnate into, that this is it. Oh, heavens to Betsy. Go study astronomy. Not even astrology, astronomy. Oh my goodness gracious. Look at what is there. Look at what we are a part of. Study life. Did you know that the jellyfish found at the very bottom of the ocean is immortal? It is the only creature that scientists have found at this point in time that actually reproduces itself by itself and begins a new life again. That is, the DNA is exactly the same as it was when it reproduces itself. Isn't that interesting? Wow, that's a miracle. Or is it? Is it just the nature of life? And so, don't allow yourself, if you find yourself becoming discouraged and thinking, I'm never going to be able to do this, stop it. 30 years ago, my husband did that. He had been always wanting to play the piano. He played a flute, played the guitar, but his family couldn't afford a piano. And we were newly married. Well, not that newly, but anyway. And he kept, I wish I had taken piano. I wish I had taken piano. And I finally said, look, if you want to take piano, you better start now because you're going to keep complaining. You've been complaining for a couple of years. And I did say it like that. It wasn't very nice. I said, you've been talking about it, and if you start now, so you're late starting in life, but you can be complaining for 30 years or you could be playing for 30 years. Anyway, I bought him a piano, little tiny miniature baby toy piano with a little card and said, I've saved up and this is to go out and buy you a piano and buy you your first 10 lessons, I think it was. Let's save for a little bit of time, and I'll be darned. He is playing piano now. His teacher told him he's playing at a graduate level. He's had the same teacher for 31 years now. And he plays 6 days a week. He loves his piano. He'll come back next lifetime. And that will be, he'll pick it up early on. But what was he on the road to? He was on the road to spending the next 30 years filled with, oh, I didn't get to do this. Oh, I regret it. I regret it. I regret it. Oh, if only, if only, if only. So go back in your own life. What is it that you are afraid of that's not going to come to you? And make yourself, create for yourself, what do I need to do? Maybe it's not going to come tomorrow, maybe it's not going to come in 1 year or 5 years or 10 years, but how about if I prepare myself for the next lifetime? How about if I learn what I need to learn for the next lifetime? And you'll be amazed what comes in this lifetime. You'll be amazed what comes in tomorrow. Because what you are doing is opening yourself to life. Opening yourself to life. And I'm saying again for the fourth time, you must remove your fears. Take the surface ones, remove them. And what will happen is those that were in the subconscious, again, I'm repeating it, they will come up and they will say, oh, I guess it's acceptable to show my face. Show your face? Oh, I see. And then that which is in the vast majority of your unconscious mind, which contains oodles and scoops of fantastic karma, as well as some difficult but really good karma, good wisdom, will say, oh, I see. I think she wants to see this. I think she's ready to see this. I think she will accept this. I think he will accept it. And it rises. And if you see a fear, then you do something about it. You let it go. You neutralize it. If that doesn't work, you talk to it. If that doesn't work, you visualize. You do something to visualize a change, a transformation. And then you turn in and you meditate. You meditate, you meditate, you meditate. Now, I've given you examples today of large fears, of small fears, of icky thoughts that can rise in your mind. But we must begin this path of removing the fears at whatever level you're at, wherever it starts, wherever it starts. Wherever you are at this moment, whatever you're uncomfortable with. Maybe you don't want to say I'm afraid. You don't have to say you're afraid. It's not, you're not afraid, it's just a fear. A fear is a state of consciousness. Let me be clear about that. A fear is a state of confined consciousness. Anger is simply consciousness that has constricted itself because why? You're not getting what you want at that particular point in time. You know, the person next to you took what you wanted, or it's not available to you right now. Okay, let go of the anger. Fear says, the fear is just that you're never going to get what you want. The anger is because you feel, I deserve this. I deserve that parking space. I deserve this. I deserve the promotion. I deserve this. It'll come. You are the creative principle. It will come. It's a matter of time and that which you wish to put your effort into. And, you know, I don't know why this comes to my mind, but it does. If you say, it's not going to come to me because I'm not worthy, because God doesn't like me, because the world is against me, life is against me. Remember Shelley's famous saying. Shelley is my param guru, the guru of my guru, the teacher of my teacher, the grandfather, if you will, of the Papa teacher. You're probably not worthy. It's all right. Accept it anyway. Your mind thinks you're not worthy. Say, yeah, I know, I'm not worthy, but I like it anyway. And then go about and do what needs to be done to have your mind feel, I'm worthy of accepting this. Did you hear me? Go and do what needs to be done so that your mind accepts that you are worthy of the goodness of life. But until that time, be willing to say, I accept it anyway. I accept the blessings of life anyway. For you are worthy. It doesn't matter what I say. It matters what your mind is willing to accept. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh, yes, 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 yes. Allow your mind to say yes, 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 yes. And I know that for some of you right now, it has felt like the well is dry. But I tell you truly, the sun will shine. You will be filled with the bliss of life. You are worthy of the goodness of life. You are good enough. You are worthy. Let go. For you are not this. You are not the thoughts that rise in your mind. You are your soul, but more importantly, you are your spirit. Soul is only the memory of everything that has risen in your mind, everything you've experienced in all of your life, and your judgment of that. Thus, it is vital to let go of the emotionality that rises in the mind. The spirit is eternal, immortal. All of us have the spirit. And so, we will spend the rest of our time together in meditation. You need to accept yourself. And using this observer practice, remember, thoughts are things. They don't belong to you. They're immortal. They're things. They have gravity. And they rise in the mind and they fall in the mind, and they come to you as you are relative to them. They rise at specific times. You're not your thoughts, my beloved. You are not your thoughts. When you accept yourself as you are now, doesn't mean you have to like it, but just accept it. This is it. And you don't have to worry about how you got here. How did I get in this mess? Okay, well, maybe I don't know, but let me see how I can get out of here. As the man said when he was rowing in the swamp and he was, had the alligators chomping at his oar. I don't know how I got here, but I sure better figure out how to get out of here fast. As fast as I can. And so with that, I just really am trying to say to you, accept the blessings of life. And when a fear arises in the mind, little fear, petite, 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 or big, 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 netty, 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 do your best to let it go. Don't own it. Don't own it. And let us go into meditation now. I thank you for the blessings of your presence today. Shanti. And now, if you will focus your attention at the point between your eyes, please. At your sun center. Turning your head to the left and exhaling twice. Bring the head back to the center and begin to watch your breath. Use the sipping breath. Hold the energy from the limbs to the trunk. And again, the sipping breath, inhaling through the lips as if through a straw. Hold the energy from the trunk to the spinal column. And now pulling the energy from the base of the spine to the sun center. Move that energy out in front of you as a golden ball of light. Expand it. And sweeping to the left, 3 times take that golden light and wrap it around your body. Now moving out of your awareness here, take this golden light and ascend upward above the building you're in, above the city you're in, above the continent, above the earth plane. Ascend as high as you are able, ascending to the high place. Reaching this high place of meditation. Make yourself comfortable. In your mind's eye, you see a path in front of you. Leading to a mountain. Step upon the path and readily, easily begin to ascend towards the mountain. You come to a forest. On the mountain, the path leads into the forest. Ascending upward. See the flowers on the floor of the forest. Ascend further. The sunlight dappling upon your path, leading you. The path parts in front of you, and you see a meadow. A spring meadow, teeming with life, flowers and grasses of all sorts, butterflies, dragonflies, birds. The path continues through the meadow. Feel the sunlight beating down upon you. The path returns to a forest. You are high in the mountain now, almost halfway up the mountain. The forest is pine trees. The floor is soft beneath your feet. You come to a clearing. And you see a shrine in front of you. It is perfect for you. Glowing with light. Enter into the shrine. And just rest for a moment. Breathing in the light. In your mind's eye, you see in front of you a pool of light. You see it's fed by a waterfall of light. And walk first to the pool. And as you enter the pool of light, your clothing begins to dissolve away. All of the old dissolves away. The old skin, the old problems dissolve away. And you walk under the waterfall of light, the light pouring down upon your crown center. The light pouring down upon you, filling every cell of your being. Washing away the karmas of old. Washing away all of the difficulties, all of the karma, the heaviness. Letting go of all of the hurts of the past, the fears, the pain. The space filled with light. The light pours down upon your crown center. You feel the old loosening and falling away, filling with light. You feel your body begin to ascend a little bit, rise a little bit. And you walk out of the waterfall of light, walking a little bit above the ground. Feel yourself clothed in new clothing, refreshed anew. Walking through the pool of light. And now returning from the mountain to your place of meditation. Feel yourself moving to your meditation place with ease, carrying all of the blessings of the shrine with you. Now using the Om mantra, focus your attention at your sun center, the point between your eyes. Feel in your mind's eye, bring up in your mind's eye the image of someone whom you love, that you wish to send blessings to. We will say Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. And this says the peace beyond all understanding. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shantihi. Now in your mind's eye, bring your loved ones and send forth this golden light to all of your loved ones, here or on the other side. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now bring forth all of your helpers, all of those who have taught you, all of those who have been of help to you in your life, in any way. Feel the golden light pouring down as you radiate it forth. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now in your mind's eye, bring forth an image of someone that your personality dislikes. And mentally, see yourself bowing to that person and sending forth the Om Shanti, that they might have all that they need in life. And thus that you also will have that which you need in life. Give to them that which they need. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. O ye powers that be, join with us as we pour forth our blessings upon Mother Gaia, that she may have all that she needs, that the golden light of bliss descend upon her and all of those who live within her bosom. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Now for all of those who are confined, who are being confined, in any way. May they be free. May they have that which they need most. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. For those who are leaving the earth at this time, may their way be blessed. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. For those who are coming to the earth at this time, may their way be blessed. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And now within your own mind's eye, offer your prayer for that which is most important to you at this moment. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. At this moment, feel the golden dewdrops of Ananda pouring forth upon your crown center, filling every cell of your being with Ananda, 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 da, da. Thou art blessed. Become an ever greater blessing unto all of those who enter your aura. Namaste. Namaskar. Thank you for the blessings of your presence. Thank you for your meditative energies. Namaste ji. I should tell you, next Sunday we will be celebrating the Babaji Festival, the annual Babaji Festival. So I will be with the other Swamis at the Temple of Kriya, and I will be sending you links. It will be a fun, special day. And the seminarians will be joining, the Swamis will be joining together beforehand for mantra and meditation, and then we will start at 11:45 with music, and we'll have a special ritual blessing, and I'll do a shorter version of our noon meditation, and we will have Swami Pranananda telling a yogi story, and Swami Adinananda will be doing giving a astrology for this next year, and we'll have music woven between it, and then we will have a link that you can listen at the end for a recording that Goswami Kriyananda did in 2008 at the Babaji Festival. So that will be our celebration next week. I hope you will all make a point and join us, and it will be recorded if you're not able to join, but it's the day that we honor the lineage and the teachings, the traditions of Kriya Yoga. So, namaste. Shanti.